Hi everybody, this is Mr. Esteves. I'm going to go over the math connections part of this week's activity for math and science. If you want the science part to this, go make sure you check out Miss Palacios' science lesson in Seesaw. And I will provide my homeroom with the link to that if you have any questions about adaptations. Now, I'm only going to focus on the information that is in number one, and I'm going to go over what they said about this information. Now, right above it, it said a group of scientists were studying the saguaro cactus, which is a type of cactus that tends to grow very tall. They said that the data that they collected below in that table shows the height of saguaro cacti. Now, when we say cacti, that means more than one cactus, and the number that are still alive. Now, the study began with 10 cacti of each height. What that means is when they recorded the heights, when they were observing these plants, they started with 10 for the plants that were 2 meters tall. They started with 10 of the 3-meter tall plants, and then the ones that were 4 meters tall, 5 meters tall, all of them each started with 10 plants, just like the 2-meter plants. Now, just briefly to describe what a meter is, because we didn't get to our measurement unit, which is right after spring break. A meter is about 3 rulers tall. Okay, 2 meters is actually 6 rulers tall, which, by the way, is close to my height. I'm 6 feet and 1 inch. So the first set of plants that they were observing were the ones that were about the height of Mr. Esteves. Okay, now they also observed plants that were 3 meters tall, right here, 3 meters. And again, they started with 10, but the 3-meter plants, when they were recording how many were staying alive, actually only 9 of the 3-meter plants stayed alive, okay, out of the 10 that they started with. Now, the 2-meter plants, all of them stayed alive. But the 3-meter plants, they lost one died, okay? The 4-meter plants, okay, those also only had 9. So one of the 4-meter plants died, because remember, they started with 10 for each of the heights. So one of those died. If you look at the 5-meter plants, they only have 8. So that means 2 of them died. If you look at the 6-meter plants right here, 7 of them survived. So that means 3 of them died. Okay? Because remember, all of these started with 10 plants. But as time went on, some were dying off. If you look right here, the 7-meter plants, it looks like, again, 3 of those died. They started off with 10, 3 of them died, and they were left with 7. Then they went to the group that was 8 meters tall. The group of plants that had 8 meters in height, they found out that 4 of them died. Because remember, they started off with 10, 4 of them died, that left them with 6. So as you notice the table, every time the height went up, so for the groups that had taller plants, they tended to have more cacti plants that died off. Okay, the shorter plants pretty much survived. For example, the 2-meter plants, all of them survived. But then as you start going to the bigger plants, the larger plants were dying off all the way up to 13 meters. Now, if you want to visualize what 13 meters looks like, just think of stacking 4 Henry V. Gonzalez buildings, one on top of the other, which is about 39 feet or 39 rulers, close to it. Not quite, but close to it. Okay. Now, the 13-meter plants, the really tall ones, only one survived. You can see right here, only one of those survived. That means 9 of them died. Okay, so they started with 10 of the 13-meter plants. 9 of them died. 1 stayed only. So poor 13-meter plants. So based on all that information, what they wanted you to do in number 1 is they wanted you to create a dot plot. Now, if you look below, it looks like a number line, and we can call it a number line, but pay attention to what it says under there. What they're recording is the number of plants by height that survived. Okay, so they want the ones that the ones the heights that survived. Okay. Now, for 2 meters, if you look over here, let's start with 2 meters. How many of the cacti plants stayed alive? 10. So since this is a dot plot, you need to record 10 dots above 2 meters. Okay, just like we've learned in class, a dot plot is like a graph that shows information that's being repeated using dots. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, when you record these, you kind of want to keep them in line if they're the same. Like the 3 meter plants and the 4 meter plants, they both had the same number of plants alive. So they each had 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And then the 4 meter plants had 9 also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and I tried my best to keep them at the same height because, well, they each had 9, just so that you can see that the information is the same. However, it's hard with my mouse, and I'm pretty sure some of you who work in Seesaw and try it there on the screen, it's going to be a little bit hard, but just try your best to fit them in. And remember, dot plots use dots, and you have to start from the bottom and go up, just like I'm doing. Okay, so you're going to do that for all the heights. Okay, so for 5 meters, you're going to record 8 plants, 8 dots. For 6 meters, you're going to record 7 dots. Okay, and just fill the rest in as a completed dot plot. Now, that explains the information in the table. I'm going to go ahead and move on to, I don't know why these dots won't disappear. Come on now. Well, I'll just leave them there for you to see. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down to number 2. Number 2 says, at what height does the cactus start to drop below 8 while alive? Okay, so that means, look at the heights up here. Where do you notice that they're dropping, the number of cacti that are alive are dropping below 8? So what height do they have less, do they start having less than 8? Okay, is it at 2 meters? Not really, because look, they have 10. That's not below 8. Is it the 3 meter plants? Is that where they start dropping below 8? Nope, they still have 9. So you have to, for number 2, you have to write down what height do they start dropping below 8. Okay. Number 3, it says, what is the best range in height for the cactus to remain healthy? Meaning that they have less than 2 dead. So what range? Range means you have a starting point and an ending point. So at what height to what other height are the cacti still healthy? Okay. Are they still healthy at 2 meters? Yes, because all of them stayed alive. Okay. So you're going to start at 2 meters. So from 2 meters, at what point do you start noticing that they're not alive? Okay. Well, they said, or that they are not healthy. I'm sorry. There was some background noise and it confused me. But anyway, what they're saying here is, at what point do the plants start looking like they're a little bit unhealthy at that height? Okay, and that means they have to have more than 2 dead. Okay, so of course the first one can't be that because all of them stayed alive. If you look at 3 meters, the plants that were 3 meters tall, did they have less than 2 dead? Yeah, they only have 1 dead. Okay, but at what height did they start becoming less healthy? Meaning they had more than 2 dead. Okay, so think about that. Number 4 is a science question. Just think it, if you don't know the answer, just try your best in thinking why these cactus, the taller ones, died. But if you have any questions about that, please make sure to attend Ms. Palacios' tutoring sessions, or you can always reach out to her and ask her, or go and watch her lesson in Seesaw, or whatever I share with you that is based on that lesson. And number 5, how many times more cacti were alive at 3 meters than 12 meters? Okay, for that one, number 5, they want you to focus on 3 meters and 12 meters. Oops, not that one, 12. They want you to look at the numbers for each. So 3 meter plants had 9 of them that stayed alive. 12 meter plants had 3 of them that stayed alive. So what they're asking is, how many more times is 9 bigger than 3? Now I'm going to warn you here. This is not addition. This is not subtraction. Okay? When they ask, how many more times is 9 than 3? Think of the word times, and I'm giving you a little hint here. Times. Get it? How many more times is 9 larger than 3? So think about that, and that's how you answer number 5. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. I hope this was helpful. If you still need help with this, please make sure to attend my tutoring sessions at 5 p.m. on Wednesday and Thursday. And then on Friday, I do have class meeting at 5, but the first part of it is to help answer any questions about assignments. So be on the lookout for those invites. If you still need help before then, you can have your parents message me. They have my text. They can message me on Dojo, and that's it. I hope this helps. Thank you.